Then the sign of the Son of Man will appear in heaven, and then all the tribes of the earth will mourn, and they will see the Son of Man coming on the clouds of heaven with power and great glory. And he will send his angels with a great sound of a trumpet, and they will gather together his elect from the four winds, from one end of heaven to the other. In part 13 of this series, I introduced the idea that the sign of the Son of Man in heaven speaks of Christ Jesus at the right hand of the Father, ruling over the nations and finishing the work of God on earth. And what is the conclusion of this work? To gather together his elect from the four winds, from one end of heaven to the other. If we stay in context in Matthew 24, it's just a few verses later that Jesus states, "But of that day and hour no one knows, not even the angels of heaven, but my Father only." He immediately follows with, "But as the days of Noah were, so also will the coming of the Son of Man be." This corresponds with Matthew 24:30, where Jesus said, "And they will see the Son of Man coming on the clouds of heaven with power and great glory." The coming of the Son of Man, not a one-time event, but a period like the days of Noah. Proof is found in the fact that the Lord goes on to describe these days. But as the days of Noah were, so also will the coming of the Son of Man be. For as in the days before the flood, they were eating and drinking, marrying and giving in marriage, until the day that Noah entered the ark, and did not know until the flood came and took them all away. So also will the coming of the Son of Man be. First, the days before the flood, followed by the flood came. How many days were there before the flood? It doesn't say, but God did tell Noah, "For after 7 more days I will cause it to rain on the earth 40 days and 40 nights, and I will destroy from the face of the earth all living things that I have made." Here's our number 40 again, typifying birth pains or tribulation. In the days before the flood, the sons of God saw the daughters of men and took wives for themselves of all whom they chose. Some believe that the phrase sons of God refers to angels. I do not believe this. For to which of the angels did he ever say, "You are my son, today I have begotten you"? This question is rhetorical, and the answer is that God has never called angels sons. As for taking wives, I believe this correlates with the following. And Jesus answered and said to them, "The sons of this age marry and are given in marriage. But those who are counted worthy to attain that age and the resurrection from the dead neither marry nor are given in marriage. Nor can they die anymore, for they are equal to the angels and are sons of God, being sons of the resurrection." As you might guess, there is much to be considered in these passages. However, I just wish to point out that Jesus said, "The sons of this age marry and are given in marriage." What he then says indicates that he is not talking about secular commitments, but of spiritual. Another aspect of the days of Noah was that the wickedness of man was great in the earth, and every intent of the thoughts of his heart was only evil continually. A few verses later we read, "The earth also was corrupt before God, and the earth was filled with violence." Wickedness was great, evil was continual, and the earth was filled with violence. All of this before the day that Noah entered the ark. And what came next? The flood. So Jesus says this, "And did not know until the flood came and took them all away. So also will the coming of the Son of Man be. Then 2 men will be in the field. One will be taken and the other left. 2 women will be grinding at the mill. One will be taken and the other left. Watch therefore, for you do not know what hour your Lord is coming. But know this, that if the master of the house had known what hour the thief would come, he would have watched and not allowed his house to be broken into. Therefore, you also be ready, for the Son of Man is coming at an hour you do not expect. Who knew that the flood was coming? Noah, whose name means rest. There remains therefore a rest for the people of God. For he who has entered his rest has himself also ceased from his works as God did from his. Let us therefore be diligent to enter that rest, lest anyone fall according to the same example of disobedience. What happened when the flood came? It took them all away. What did? The flood, so, despite tradition's take, this is not a good thing and has nothing to do with the rapture. Based on the various translations, the phrases 2 men and 2 women may not be accurate. The concordant, literal New Testament simply states 2. But more importantly, the fact that one is taken and the other left supports the understanding of a separation. And again, despite tradition's take, what is meant by separation is made clear in verses 50 and 51. The master of that servant will come on a day when he is not looking for him, and at an hour that he is not aware of, and will cut him in two and appoint him his portion with the hypocrites. There shall be weeping and gnashing of teeth. What happens to the one taken by the flood? They are cut in two. No, not literally, but separated to their portion with the hypocrites. I immediately think of how Jesus dealt with the scribes and Pharisees of his time, calling them hypocrites and telling them, "Your spiritual house is left to you desolate." Another key word to consider in the Lord's discourse regarding the days of Noah is in Matthew 24:43, where the Lord or master of the house is likened to a thief. This coincides with the following. But concerning the times and the seasons, brethren, you have no need that I should write to you. For you yourselves know perfectly that the day of the Lord so comes as a thief in the night. For when they say peace and safety, then sudden destruction comes upon them as labor pains upon a pregnant woman, and they shall not escape. Here we're told that the day of the Lord so comes as a thief in the night. To whom? To those asleep and drunk in the night, that is, those who are not aware or did not know. Is this synonymous with the coming of the Son of Man in the flood? It is. For the 40 weeks of pregnancy matches the 40 days and nights of the flood, typifying the probation and trial of his people. One of tradition's biggest problems is putting everything Jesus said in Matthew 24 and in Revelation far into the future as though he is on the throne, basically doing nothing until he returns on a particular day in the future, which has been guessed at over and over with absolutely no accuracy at all. In the meantime, the flood carries many away. No, not a flood of water, but a flood of deception. Despite the deception, I would encourage all of you, for when the enemy comes in like a flood, the Spirit of the Lord will lift up a standard against him. We are heading for a change. In the next study, we will wrap up our examination of the days of Noah.